Hi guys, it's Angie with Fun Endeavors Tie-Dye Lab. Today let's make an ice-dyed geode hoodie. For this design, I'm going to use a ladies buffalo hoodie, which I purchased from Costco. They didn't sell these this year for some reason, but this is a special order design, and I thought this nice soft hoodie would be perfect. So I pulled one of the couple of them that I have left from last season, and I'm going to use that. They also wanted the design to start down in the lower right hand portion. That's where they want the center of the geode to be. So I've drawn an X using a washable marker. I'm going to pinch that X, lift the hoodie up off the table, and I'm going to slide my hand down to the bottom, and that's where I'm going to begin tying the geode rings. I also didn't turn the hoodie inside out because as I apply the dye to this hoodie and the ice, I want to check the color saturation. I want to make sure the hoodie's getting well saturated, and to do that, I'm going to leave it turned the right way. If I turn the hoodie inside out, the inside of this hoodie is polyester, which doesn't actually dye. So it would be difficult to tell whether or not the hoodie was getting well saturated if I was looking at the polyester portion of the hoodie. I'm tying the hoodie with sinew, and sinew is wax coated. So every place that you see me wrapping with the sinew, I wrap the sinew around several times right on top of itself. Then I pull as tightly as I can until it locks on itself and I can't pull it any tighter. Sometimes I'll give a couple more wraps of the sinew in that same area and repeat that process. Then I'm going on and wrapping another sinew line. I'm trying to vary the distance between my sinew lines as well because I'm making a geode, so I want it to look a little bit more natural and everything be a little bit more varied. I'm trying to keep the fabric a little messy as I'm tying it as well. If you'll notice, I'm kind of grabbing some of the fabric, pulling it down, causing some folds in the fabric. Here again, that makes some really unusual little pockets and lines in the fabric, which I think makes it look very interesting. I'm also really working to pull my sinew extra tight because the fabric is thick and I want to make sure I do get some definition lines in this hoodie. Okay, so I'm going to continue this process until I get close to the center of the geode. I'm going to go ahead and speed the video up a little bit, but if you want to watch it a little slower, there's a settings icon on YouTube. You can click that and choose your playback speed. You can either speed up or slow down the video, whichever one is more comfortable for you. As I get closer to the center of the geode, I am definitely going to make sure I keep roughing that fabric up. I'm going to push part of it down inside. I'm going to keep messing with it, causing some folds. When you're tying your geode, if you're starting from the outside in, I think it is a little bit easier to do that with your fabric so that you don't end up with a bullseye. Sometimes when you tie your geodes from the center going out, it's a little bit too easy to make a bullseye instead of a geode. However, if you're starting to tie from the outside in and you're keeping your fabric perfect and you're tying out toward that center of the geode and everything looks pristine, you're probably going to end up with a bullseye shaped geode center as well. So really, the messier you are when you tie these geodes, I think the better they end up looking. Then whenever I get down to the very end, I am going to take my fabric and kind of split it into two areas, pull my sinew down in between those two areas, and create more than one center. You can make as many centers to your geode as you'd like to have. Just take your sinew down in between those two areas, tie one side, and then come back and tie the other side. What I actually did is I split my center, I went and tied one side, and then I split that side a second time, so I ended up kind of with about 3 centers when I tied my geode. After I have the geode tied, I'm going to go ahead and straighten it out just a little bit, kind of try to make it as flat as possible. It's a lot easier when you apply the dye to a geode if you straighten it out and you don't have one area kind of sticking up a little further than the others. So I'm going to straighten it out just a little bit, then I'm going to place it aside and allow it to dry out completely. I get much better color saturation on thick folds like this and with thick fabric like this if I apply the dye when it is completely dry. If you'd like a little more information about that topic, I have a link to my website down below this video in the description, and I have a blog post addressing that topic out on my website. For my setup, I have a long metal rack over the top of a long plastic tote. Then I need to make myself some sort of an ice barrier, and I'm going to use some silicone cake molds for my ice barrier. I purchased these from Amazon, and I have a link to them down below this video in the description. I'm going to attach them together and wrap them around the shirt. Then I'm going to use some wooden clothespins, which I'm going to attach to my metal rack to hold them up close to the shirt. These are great to go around the odd shapes that are formed whenever you make a geode shirt. So you may be asking yourself, if the hoodie's so thick, why don't I just put it down inside of a container, add the dye over the top, add the ice over the top, and just allow it to muck dye, which means just to leave it down in the container along with the melting ice that's mixed with the dye. Well, that would work. However, you would think that if I did that, I would be sure to get great color saturation, that the hoodie would just soak up all of the muck from that melting ice and dye, but that's not always what happens. I know it seems weird, but I've had hoodies before that I did that way. I placed them down inside of a container, added plenty of ice, plenty of dye. They were sitting in muck. I mean, it was really far up the garment, and I still had poor color saturation. I either had white areas on the inside or I just didn't have great color saturation. So with an item like this, I really want to keep tabs on my color saturation. I want to make sure the color is going all the way through to the back side. And if I rack dye it like I'm getting ready to do, I have the option to come back, add more ice, and even more dye if I absolutely have to. When I apply dye to items like this and looks like this, I try to add a whole lot of dye the very first time and then just keep adding ice to force more of that dye down through the hoodie. So one reason why I like to add a lot of dye right at the beginning and not have to apply a second layer of dye is because I'm going to do this dye as randomly as I can, which means I'm going to apply dye in the sections, I'm going to apply dye on the lines, I'm going to apply more than one color of dye in some sections. I'm really trying to mix it up. Here again, it's a geode, so it's supposed to be more natural, more organic, just look very random. So that's what I'm going to do. And the colors that I'm going to use is I'm mainly using blues, a few purples, and a couple darker shades of red. I'm also going to use some grays to kind of blend those colors together. I don't want it to be a harsh line between blues and purples. So the grays are kind of bridge colors, which will blend those two colors together, make it look a little bit more natural. So let me tell you the colors that I'm going to use. For the blues, I'm using Sapphire, Royal, Deep Space, Midnight, and Brilliant Blue, which are all Dharma Trading Company colors. I'm also going to use the Sapphire Blue from Pro Chemical and Dye. For the gray shades, I'm using Silver Lining, Charcoal Gray, Ashes to Ashes, Stormageddon, and Gunmetal Gray, which are all Dharma Trading Company colors. And the Ashes to Ashes and Stormageddon are both special order colors. You can usually still purchase those from Dharma, but you have to buy a large quantity. However, you can normally find them at a Facebook group called Tie-Dye Supplies Marketplace. People purchase them in those larger quantities and then repackage them down into smaller quantities to sell. I have a link to that Facebook group down below this video in the description. Then for my purple and darker red shades, I'm using Deep Purple, Ultraviolet, Nightshade, and Black Cherry, which are all Dharma Trading Company colors, and Flintstone, which is a dye spin color. Like I said, I'm trying to randomize these colors as much as possible when I apply them to the hoodie. And the only thing that I'm really trying to do is the customer specifically said they wanted the center of the geode to be sapphire. So I'm trying to use mainly blues with a few grays to bust up the blues down in that center portion of the geode. I found that it's a little bit easier to apply all the blues to the hoodie at one time. That way I kind of, as I'm applying the blues, know which lines are blue. And then I go on and apply the grays and then the purples and the darker reds. That's just kind of my technique for doing it. If I have some spaces then left in between that I need to apply some more dyes to, I come back. But if when I'm applying the blue, all the lines on the hoodie at one time are blue, it makes it a little bit easier to tell where I'm at with the colors. You'd be surprised. Sometimes the dye powder doesn't look exactly the color that it ends up looking once it's dissolved and finished. So that's just the technique that I use. I mean, obviously do whatever works best for you. Now over the top, I'm going to add an additional sprinkle of dry soda ash, and then I'm going to add on some ice. For the ice this time, I'm going to use some larger cubes of ice, which I've made in some silicone ice molds. I'm really going to layer them on top of this hoodie. It's going to take a lot of ice to get all this dye down through the fabric. Then once I have the ice on the hoodie, I'm going to take the silver lining, which is one of the light gray colors from Dharma, and I'm going to place that lightly over the top of all the ice. I didn't place the silver lining in the sections of the hoodie because it's a pretty light gray. I've had issues before with that color when I ice dye with it, not showing up really well. And so I didn't want that, but I do want to have a little hint of that color in any of the bare spaces. Sometimes whenever I do geodes like this, I'll use ecru over the top because it's a very light color, but it adds just a little dimension. And this time I'm going to do that with silver lining. Then I'm going to place the hoodie aside and allow the ice to melt. And after the first layer of ice melted on the hoodie, I did still have a lot of undissolved dye left sitting on top. I kind of lifted the rack up and checked the back, and the color was starting to come through really well, but I went ahead and added a second layer of ice to the top of the hoodie. I let it melt as well, checked the back again, and it was coming through really well again, but I had just a little bit of undissolved dye left sitting on top that I wanted to go ahead and add one more smaller layer of ice to the top. After the final layer of ice melted, I took the hoodie out of the silicone cake molds, placed it down inside of a plastic tote that has a metal rack down in the bottom, put the lid on top, and I placed it someplace really warm and allowed it to process for about 48 hours before I began rinsing it. As you can see right before I began rinsing the hoodie that I have really good color saturation both on the front and the back side. So I began rinsing the hoodie in cold water to rinse out the soda ash. I warmed the water up to hot and began rinsing in hot water to try to rinse out the excess dye that didn't bond with the fabric. I went ahead and untied the hoodie, and then it's going to take a long time of rinsing to get all this excess dye out because the fabric is so thick. So instead, I'm just going to soak the hoodie. To do that, I'm going to run some really hot water in my utility sink, add a little bit of Blue Dawn dish soap to the water, place the hoodie inside, and allow it to soak. When the water cools off, I'm going to change it out, and I'm going to continue that soaking process until my water is remaining almost clear. For this hoodie, I soaked it at least a full 24 hours, probably closer to about 48 hours before I put it in the washing machine, because with the blues, I just had a lot of color continuing to come out. To wash the hoodie, I put it into my washing machine along with some Dharma's Professional Textile Detergent, and I washed it using a hot water cycle. Okay, so the hoodie has been washed, dried, and ironed, and let's see what it looks like. Okay, so what do you guys think? So the goal for this Geode hoodie was darker colors, more jewel tones, heavy on the sapphire with some purple and a few ruby tones, with the center of the geode being down in the lower right-hand portion of the hoodie. And I'm really happy with it. I think it turned out really pretty. I love the colors together. And I do have good definition lines. A few areas are a little bit lighter than others, which is to be expected because of the thickness of the fabric. And I really like how on the back of the hoodie, some of the lines are mainly defined by colors. Like one that really stands out to me is a bright blue. And I think that looks really cool, how that kind of is going straight down the line, which is to be expected. I mean, I put the colors specifically on the lines for that reason. I like the way all the colors harmonize together as well. I was a little bit concerned about adding in too much red because I didn't want a bright red. That's the reason why I added the flintstone and I added in the black cherry. Those are kind of dark and moody enough that they give hints of red, but they're not bright red, because I didn't think with the dark purples and the dark blues, a bright red would be a good look. So I'm really happy with the reds that I added in. And even though I added in a lot of grays, if you notice when you look at the hoodie, you don't just see an overwhelming amount of gray. That's because the grays just kind of blended with the other colors, toned them down a little bit, and they're acting to just kind of connect all the colors together. Like I said, for me, when I'm working with blues and purples, I kind of like to put grays instead of browns in my geodes. I just think it looks more natural. It just flows with the color palette a little bit better in my opinion. So overall, I really love the way this hoodie turned out. I think it's really pretty, and the customers seem to be really happy with it as well. But what do you guys think? Do you like this one? Do you like the colors? Please drop me some comments down below and let me know. And if you've enjoyed the video, I sure would appreciate it if you would like it, and if you'd subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you'll hit the bell, you'll receive a notification whenever I upload a new video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day.